Good evening, and thank you for joining us tonight on the Healthcare Billing Incorporated pre-race show. We've got Speed Racing Network Truck Series action live from Charlotte, North Carolina, but a little bit of a different look. We're running the Roval tonight. I got a different co-host as well. He's a little bit of a shadow over there. It's Landon Lacey, my Rev Racing teammate, joining me tonight as we have Brandon racing in the race tonight. Landon, how you doing?
I'm doing good, sir. I'm actually a little bit confused. I thought I sent our producer my picture, and apparently it didn't make it. So we'll have to ask him what's going on after the race. But looking forward to this race tonight here at the road course. I love road courses, so have to see how these truck guys do tonight.
Yeah, we've had some really good races so far. We're on our fourth race of the season. Dover was last week. They had an epic race at Kansas. And Ed Scher seems to be the talk of the town lately. He's feeling confident coming into the Roval tonight. Do you think we'll see a lot of the same? Some good side-by-side action out here on the Roval, a tough track, a very technical track. What do you think we'll see tonight?
For me, the trucks here are a little bit more easier to handle than I think what we'll see in the Xfinity and Cup Series. But like you said, for sure, he could possibly go for 3 in a row. He's looking pretty fast out there tonight. But you never know what's going to happen on a road course.
That's true, and this one is unlike any other that we go to during the Speed Racing Network season. If there is one close to it, it's going to be the Daytona road course, but this one is a much more tighter setup, being that it's inside of a 1.5 mile track as opposed to a 2-mile track in Daytona. So, yeah, we're going to get to it and see what these boys got tonight. But let's go ahead and move on to our next part of the Healthcare Billing Incorporated pre-race show. That's going to be our league details. Well, actually, no, we're actually going to get into the race intro. I always like to jump ahead, so you got to bear with me. But yeah, like I said, we're in week number 4. It's the right turn Roval 90 from the Charlotte Roval. We're going to be turning 40 laps tonight, and as always, these trucks have one faster pair. You think we're going to be using those up tonight, Landon?
I think you'll see a couple guys use them. The reason I say only a couple is because, for one, if you go down pit road and use a faster pair here, you're going to lose a lot of time. We're not going to see a lot of full course cautions, if any, tonight. So I don't believe we'll see many guys use faster players. Plus, it's a road course. Damage really isn't going to hurt you as much as it does on a 1.5 miles or, some of the 2-mile racetracks. So I don't think we'll see as many faster pairs used tonight, but somebody definitely will use one.
Yeah, that's a good point. You don't really get affected as much with your damage, but still you can get some water water temperature issues if you do cave in the nose. So I'm sure some will be used, and that turn 1 is going to be dicey when we get to race time. Let's go ahead now move on to our league details. We have run a 20-week fixed setup season here at SRN in the Truck Series, and as always, they have one faster pair as opposed to 2 that they had last season, which has made the racing so much better, in my opinion. They pay $5 a week to get into the race, and they are racing for weekly and season payouts. The champion coming away with $300, and then we got 5-person teams that are running for a $100 team championship. I love everything that we are racing for here, Landon, and SRN.
Yeah, I mean, I do too. The way that they have it set up this year, not only do you want to see yourself perform well, you want to see your team perform well. Because if you guys go into every single week and perform very well, you might even find yourself in the playoff bracket with the teams this year, which is new this season as well. And you might see yourselves winning a little bit of extra cash on top of that.
Never a bad thing to walk away with some cash. We like to have fun here, but we are also racing for some money as well. Let's go ahead and talk about that money here on the Healthcare Billing Incorporated pre-race show. First place is going to come away with $15, tripling that entry fee that they put in to get into the race. Second, going to come away with $10. Third through fifth, going to get that money back.
These, like you said, you pay in $5 for the Truck Series, and you could walk out with 3 times that amount if you cross that finish line first this week.
Yeah, so, coming away with some money, put it in, what you get out of it. And, we love that here at SRN, so these guys are going to be having some cash on the line. We'll see who comes away with it, but the big money is going to be that season payout. So let's go ahead and check just what these guys are racing for. You see that briefcase filled with cash. You love to see it. So we're paying out a little bit different here this year. Last year it was 1st through 5th. We're going to go ahead and pay 1st through 8th this season, with the first place champion coming away with $300. Second is going to get a nice $150. Third's going to get $90, with fourth walking away with $60. Fifth's going to get $40. Sixth's going to get $30, and seventh going to get $20, with eighth place walking away with not much, $10, but still something nonetheless.
Yeah, and I think this really plays into something we saw last season. A lot of leagues tend to lose driver count toward the end of the season when it comes to the playoffs, and I think the administration up here at SRN has really looked at that and gone into paying out a little farther down, so that way we can at least keep people interested and keep people racing for something at the end of the season.
I think that's really going to help nip that in the bud. Like we saw last season, the car counts got pretty low. I think that's going to change this year with, like you mentioned earlier, the team playoff format playing into things, as well as these season payouts paying 1st through 8th. But let's go ahead and talk about our next segment here on the Healthcare Billing Incorporated pre-race show, one that's near and dear to me. It's the Kane Cook Sim Coaching. And I love talking about my coach, Kane Cook. I use him as much as I can once a week. We've been getting to work this year, and it's really paying off for myself. And I know a lot of the guys within the league are doing the same, Landon. Yeah,
and I mean, I will say, from watching you last season to watching you earlier this season, all those sessions with Kane has really, I think helped you out with how you've raced lately. I mean, we saw you pick up a win at Texas at the end of last year, and you won at Kansas 2 weeks ago. So, I think this guy right here, 7,400 I rating, that's not an easy thing to do. Trust me, I've tried it. I think I got up to 5K and I quit trying because it's really, really hard to do that. And he's got 2 accounts with that I rating. That is unheard of.
Yeah, to do that on 2 accounts, is unheard of, like you said. But also to become a Coca-Cola Series driver and race for $300,000 is also one of the hardest things you can do on this sim. He's known for being a hard charger, as you see right there. And you're exactly right, man. He has taught me so much that I wasn't even able to comprehend before meeting up with him. Tire management, pit entry, just race strategy overall. He can go over any little thing you want and help you out big time. So if is something that interests you, it's right there in that red text right below his name. Book your session on speedracingnetwork.com. It's very easy to do. It takes you to the home page. You scroll down a little bit and follow all the prompts. They'll set you up with a time, and before you know it, you're going to be winning races, man. So go ahead and take advantage of that. A new segment, though, that we are very excited to have here on the Healthcare Billing Incorporated pre-race show is the Beer of the Week, presented by Beer Street Journal, and Sean Griffith has it for us this week.
This week's Beer of the Week is created by Bell's Brewery in Michigan. For 7 years, a beer called Pliny the Elder was the top pale ale in the country. Then Bell's Brewery decided to create an IPA called Two-Hearted Ale that knocked Pliny the Elder off that top spot. Once they took the top spot, Bell's Brewery decided to take it one step further and created Double Two-Hearted Ale. It debuted back in 2019, but Bell's Brewery only puts out the Double Two-Hearted Ale on the shelves occasionally as a seasonal release. Well, luckily for you, this is the season. This is a hoppier, slightly boozier version of Two-Hearted Ale, but with the same great flavor as the original. If you want the best, you get the best, but if you want even better than the best, then go pick up Bell's Brewery's Double Two-Hearted Ale. The Beer of the Week is brought to you by Beer Street Journal, the leading publication for craft beer reviews. Go to beerstreetjournal.com to find your next great beer. And as always, you must be 21 to enjoy, and please drink responsibly.
Like I mentioned, one of our favorite segments here on the Healthcare Billing Incorporated pre-race show, thanks to Beer Street Journal, as always. But you see it there, Bell's Brewery Double Two-Hearted Ale, a double IPA, Blandon. How do you feel about that?
I mean, to be honest with you, I don't really drink very much beer, so I don't really know. I don't know what a Double American IPA is, to be honest with you.
Well, it's a very strong beer. I can leave it at that. But yes, if you are ever interested in checking out more amazing beers, you see it right there at the bottom. Go ahead and find them on beerstreetjournal.com. Thanks as always for coming on board, Beer Street Journal. So let's go ahead and move on to our individual standings here on the Healthcare Billing Incorporated pre-race show. And you see it inside the cut. We got our top 15 so far after 3 races. And, you know, a name that we're familiar at seeing up at the top, Landon Cole Martin, is leading the way.
Yeah, you know, after Cole, you know, winning the... Oh, wait, that's not right. But yeah, Cole's been... You know, ever since last season, he's been running very, very well, and it's not surprising to see him back up there again.
Well, a few other drivers that we are seeing run really well so far. Jonathan Byer, not far behind, sitting 5 points back. We got a 3-way tie for second there with Byer, Michael Madden, and Edward Shearer, who has 2 wins on the season already. And then Nathan Mon, also running out of Royal Motorsports, sitting in the top 5. So that's 3 RMS drivers within the top 5. And a newcomer as well, Cardolo for Jonathan Byer Racing, sitting there just outside the top 5. And 6, we got a ton of new talent here in the Truck Series. And it's shaping up to be an epic season, Landon.
Yeah, I've been very well. You know, like you said, I'm really surprised so far with Cardullo to be, you know, someone who hasn't really raced with a lot of these guys to come in here and be as successful as he is. I know he's got the same name as me, and he kind of a little bit reminds me of me because I came in here last season in the Cup Series and kind of just, you know, fell right in, and it takes certain kind of drivers to do that.
Absolutely. Let's go ahead and check outside the cut real quick just to get a grasp of who is sitting outside the cut. And Blair Holloman is going to be the first driver outside the cut with Kyle Wimble, Bobby Anderson, just to name a few, Kevin Wanker, and another one down there in 24th, Michael York. All these guys sitting outside the cut trying to make up some space and might have a tough time with a very tough track here at the Roval, Landon.
Yeah, there's some guys, you know, on this list that, you know, you just from watching them last season. I mean, you think about Evan Scott, you know, very good driver, and it's kind of, you know, odd to see him down there in 33rd position. But, you know, I think we'll see him, you know, as the season goes on, we'll see him perform a little better, and I think that'll be one guy that we see move up the ladder quite quickly.
Definitely, and we got a few other drivers that we'll mention later on. But yes, all these guys outside the cut easily can get inside the cut, so it's going to be an epic next 10 weeks getting to that playoff cutoff line. But let's go ahead and check out these team standings, and you see it there at the top, building a pretty nice lead with those 2 wins so far is going to be Roel Motorsports, followed by Rev'd Racing, just 30 points behind, and Jonathan Byer just 3 points behind them, sitting there in 3rd.
Yep, then you got Zuyos Racing in 4th, R&D Motorsports in 5th. You know, which some of these teams at the bottom as well is surprising. You know, R&D runs pretty well every week. Tank Racing runs well pretty well every week. So, you know, to see them kind of midway down here on the list is a little bit surprising.
Well, yeah, these standings will shake up a little bit, though, as R&D Motorsports has changed into another team, so those points will reset and look a little bit different next week. But let's go ahead and move on to our team introductions here on the Healthcare Billing Incorporated pre-race show. And the first team is going to be the team at the top of the standings. That's going to be Roel Motorsports, and they have such a good lineup here in the Truck Series, and it's really showing this season. And, you know, leading the way up at the top in that 2 machine is Edward Shearer with the 2 wins. So it's kind of fitting, the number 2 car or truck with 2 wins already. Nathan Mon has run really well this year. Michael York looking to get his feet under him, with Troy Techmeyer also having a little bit of trouble to start this season. And Cole Martin yet to get a win, but running really consistent out there.
Yeah, you know, these guys, you know, RMS, they are stacked across all the series, not just the Truck Series. They're stacked in Xfinity and Cup as well. But like you said, we got Eric Scher, who's won the past 2 weeks, looking to go for 3 in a row. Nathan Mann had a really hard week, as well as Troy Techmeyer had a really hard week at Dover. So they'll be looking to turn their luck around this week.
on, it's going to be Rev Racing next. Running out of time on the show, so we're going to have to try and power through these, but they have quite an amazing team themselves, running just 30 points behind Roval Motorsports. You got Lucas Lyons, Michael Madden, Sean Jensick with the win already on the season at Daytona, with Sean Kozier and Cody Riggs as well.
Yeah, and like you said, Sean Jensick's already got a win this season, and I'm really looking at Lucas Lyons, but he's going to have to start making less mistakes and start finishing up his races.
Yeah, it's easy to do when you're a rookie to make some mistakes early on, but like you said, he has the talent to do so. Another team with the talent to get it done out here on the track is going to be Jonathan Byer Racing. You see it there, consistency and speed is their motto. Kyle Wimble is going to be in the 3-car. Your guy out there, Landon Cardullo, in the 13, the 35 of Jack Johnson, the 66 of Jonathan Byer, as well as the 75 of James Kerr.
Yeah, and these guys, not only in the Truck Series, but as well in the Xfinity Series, and these guys run well every week. I didn't really notice them till I started actually being a part of the broadcast, but these guys run very, very well and are capable of getting a win at any week.
Absolutely. Another team capable of getting a win any week of the season is going to be the team of Zoo Yost Racing, a new team on the block, but still, we're in week 4 of the season, and they're already making their presence known, running 4th in the team standings. You see it there, Don't Feed the Animals. They're going to be headed by their team captain, the 98 of Rob Yost Jr. down there, and following him, they got the 06 of Blair Holloman, the 4 of John Taylor, a former Cup driver, the 16 of Dave Fuge Jr., as well as a new name on the list, the 99 of Mike Mosby.
Yeah, and we saw Dave Fuge run a very good race at Dover last week, and I don't know how he is on road courses, but I am looking forward to him in the future as being one of the top contenders.
Definitely. All right, moving on. We're going to go ahead to the 5th place team in the team standings. We've got Tank Racing, one of my favorite animations that our producer Sean has put together out there. It looks so beautiful, and they have a great team out there headed by the 25 of Jacob Zala. He started on the pole last week at Dover, got into a little bit of trouble, but ran good nonetheless. The 26 of Josh Mueller, veteran here at SRN, the 63 of Bruce Amston, the 64 of Walt Lipicki, who had one of his best finishes in SRN last week at Dover, followed by the 79 of Jeremy Duncan.
Yeah, and these guys are another group, like you said, that are really good and can win at any time. I think they're a little bit more of the line that they just happen to fall into some bad luck week in and week out. We'll have to see if they can, figure that out and see if they can get into victory lane.
To the best of us, but moving on, we're going to go ahead and check out a new team on the block, but still not new to SRN. They were with the original series, MSM, and they are the do-gooders. Danny Setzer in the 17, the 24 of Taylor Smith. The 88 is going to be a strong contender tonight at the road course. Joseph DuPont and the 90 machine of Corey Knight, as well as the 93 of Brad Yonkman, Landon.
Yeah, and you already pointed him out, Joseph DuPont, really good at road courses, and he was pretty fast in practice, so looking forward to seeing what he can do tonight.
We only got 2 more teams to get to here on the Healthcare Billing Incorporated pre-race show. One that's near and dear to our producer's heart, Stryker Motorsports, his original team. They're out there fast as lightning, and they have some names we are used to seeing out there on the track. Matt Johnson, he had a really good average finish at road courses last year. The 9 of Tevin Whitner, the 33 of Don Milkowicz, the 42 of Kevin Wanker, also pretty good on the road courses last season. And then the 71 of Travis Trevelyan, a very talented team to be that far down on the team standings, Landon.
Yeah, and, sorry for Brandon, but I really don't know many of these guys. I know Kevin Winker, and I think Tevin Whitner, but other than that, the other 3 are kind of just a blank to me. I've never really watched these guys race, so it'll be really interesting to watch these guys tonight.
To give you a little spoiler, Matt Johnson was a title contender last year for Jonathan Byer Racing, so he can get it done for these guys out there. But let's go ahead. We got a new team on the block. We mentioned earlier that R&D stepped out of the Truck Series, and that took over by Bobby Anderson Racing, and they like to raise the bar a little bit. You see it there. So an awesome animation brought to us by Sean Griffith. Only a 3-car team so far, but Bobby Anderson, Evan Scott, and Jason Kratky, very tough in their own right. They got some work to do to make up some ground on the rest of the field and the team standings.
Right, 3 strong drivers. Bobby Anderson's very good. Evan Scott is, I'm like I said earlier, I'm surprised he's so low in the standings, but he could have a breakout week any week. And I've raced with Jason Crackey personally in many different leagues, and he's very, very good. So this is a good addition for this new team.
Well, let's go ahead and get out to the track. You see it there. The clock is done. We are done with the Healthcare Billing Incorporated pre-race show. Let's go ahead and run down our starting grid. Cole Martin, our points leader so far this season, is going to be on point to lead them to the line here at the right turn. Roval 90, followed by Edward Shearer, his teammate that's kind of putting the pressure on him here this season with 2 wins already. Blair Holloman going to be running third out of Zeos Racing, and we have an independent out there, an Xfinity regular, and Daniel Bowler starting fourth.
Yep, and then we got Nathan Mon starting fifth, another Xfinity driver. Oh, no, sorry. Cup Series driver, Emerson Ardon, even though I think he's Xfinity, actually. Okay, cool. Then you got my pick tonight, Landon Cardulo, starting 7th. Mike Mosby, 8th. Then you have Sean Jensick, 9th. Vincent Cortez, 10th. Michael Madden, 11th. And Joseph DuPont running out the top 12.
Yeah, so quite a few Roval Motorsports drivers there up in the top 12, as well as our team. We got a few Rev'd Racing representatives as well. I know Sean Jensick has been very fast in his practice sessions all week. Kind of impressed everybody in the SRN practice last night, so we'll see what he can do. But right now, it's looking like Cole Martin is going to be there at the end of this race. He had the second best average finish out of all the drivers with a win last season at COTA. He dominated when it came to COTA, but we spoke to that 2 driver last week in his post-race interview, Edward Shearer, and he said he was very much looking forward to getting to the road courses, so he is going to be a strong contender as well. But Landon, you kind of already leaked your pick here. You're taking that 13 of Landon Cardulo, am I correct?
Yes, I'm taking Landon Cardulo. He's been running good, from week to week. Since week 1 at Daytona, he's had great average finishes. He's been up front, leading laps, and he was pretty fast in practice tonight before this race. So I'm taking him as my pick.
I had a tough time picking before this race started, and, seeing him up there in second with the hot hand, 2 straight wins already, I'm going to have to go ahead and take Edward Shearer. I can't not take him. He is absolutely running so fantastic already this season, and to be starting on the front row is really going to put this field in check. They are going to have to keep him close, otherwise he could really pull away with this thing. But he's got the points leader and last season's champion leading him to the stripe, so it is going to be a battle between teammates out here tonight. I cannot wait to get things started.
Right, and I kind of handed you that one. I kind of handed you a bone on that pick, because he's won the past 2 weeks. He's got the most momentum, and hey, he's running a Chase Elliott scheme, and nobody lately has been better on road courses than Chase Elliott.
I didn't even think about that. But yes, thank you for giving me the easy pick tonight. But that's not to take away from any of these drivers. I'm so excited to get things going. Really bummed that they decided to take the whole lap on the pace lap. It's just making it longer before we get to the action. But yeah, just to give you a little bit of a rundown on the track, like we mentioned, this is the Charlotte Roval. There are 17 turns within this configuration where we normally only have 4 turns, and that is going to extend this race longer than you think. Only 40 laps. It's going to take quite a while, am I right?
Yeah, you're looking at about average lap time of 1:25, where typically we run 30-second, 25-second lap times. So yeah, one lap here is about 3 times the amount. Maybe more than that, about 5 times the amount that we normally run.
It's really cool when we get to the road courses. We get to see a pace car that we don't normally see. We got a Porsche out there leading these guys around tonight, but we're going to see these guys go through this chicane, but we're going to come to the green as we round turns 3 and 4 in the oval configuration. I believe these are turns 13 or 14 right here. Might be 15. Not exactly sure on the number, but they're going to go ahead and drive through these cones in a second to get the restart here. They will not be taking this front stretch chicane, and it is going to make it kind of chaotic when we get to that first turn. We're going to go ahead and see them drive through here. The pace car is going to take the chicane, but these guys are going to drive right on through these blue cones, kind of set them up for a good, easy restart to keep them all bunched up. You see the cones go all over the place, and we are green here at the Roval, and Cole Martin gets out to a good restart. He's going to have to get a good jump on the field to make sure he doesn't get a tap from behind. He does so really clean. Oh, Sean Jensik's around. We got Landon Cardullo around. Big pile up. Evan Scott also around. This is exactly what we were afraid of heading into turn one. It is just so hard to get all these trucks woed up, and those are two very strong cars. Your pick, Landon Cardullo involved, as well as Sean Jensik there.
Yeah, you also got to think many guys probably didn't practice that initial start because you don't take turn one at that speed normally. So going off into that corner at a little higher speed kind of throws you off a little bit. So you got to be prepared for that.
More cars around on that inner loop. We saw Cody Riggs around. Not sure who else was involved, but yeah, we have so much chaos already unfolding on the track. But right now, a good little battle up front as the Cole Martin machine, as well as Cole Shearer, Blair Holloman, all able to get away from the field.
Right. Martin got a good start, but Shearer's not letting him get too far away. But what you don't think about road courses being a tire conservation track, but you actually have to preserve those rear tires, especially coming out of these low speed corners. So we'll have to see who can take care of their stuff until we get to that first pit stop.
I realized that was Daniel Bowdler there in the third place truck. I saw a 6 on the side, didn't realize it was just a 6 and not the 06 of Blair Holloman, but Daniel Bowdler already up to third place. The top 4, those are all Roval Motorsports cars, with Bowdler being an independent for tonight's race, running normally in the Xfinity Series. He's always strong on the road courses, but let's go back a little bit, check out another Roval Motorsports car. You see Troy Techmeyer in the thick of it back here, battling Don Milkowicz as well as Jacob Zala.
Right, and he was another one of those ones that got caught up in that turn one incident. Not really something he wanted to see. He wanted this week to get off a little bit better this week than last week did at Dover. But we'll see if he can make his way back up through the field and see if he can get up there with his teammates.
Someone we're going to have to see if they can make it through the field. Sean Jensik just came down pit road, who was involved in that first incident on turn one. He had to take a fast repair. I watched it happen live on my screen. He had to get that truck cleared up. Otherwise, I have to imagine he had some radiator damage, in which case he might have been facing real trouble out there. If you blow an engine here, it's not like you can just roll around the track and make it back to the pits. You would have to take a tow, and it would really hamper your chances here tonight. He's going to have to make up some ground. But right now, the one making up ground on the field is the one out front, which is what nobody wants to see. Cole Martin already out to a 2.5 lead.
And all you want to do is keep this truck on the racetrack. If you can do that this entire race, you have a really good chance of coming out and winning this. But these guys, like I said, the farther you get on these tires, the more tire spin you're going to get. You can try and save all you want, but eventually you're going to lose those rear tires. And especially if you don't take care of them, we'll start seeing them here at probably about 6-7 laps, where you'll start seeing guys getting really loose off these corners.
So let's go ahead a little bit further back in the pack. We got the captain of Zulios Racing, Rob Yost Jr., picking up a spot there for 24th. He's got some work ahead of him as he is mired back in the middle of the pack. Jack Johnson taking it a little bit wide there, having to get in the brakes big time to blow up that Shippo machine back there for Jonathan Byer Racing. But yeah, we're starting to get everything spread out a little bit more as we are going through these laps, already on lap 3 of 40. Landon, do you know what a fuel run is here tonight? I believe it's around, 11, 12, 13 laps?
I believe it's around 15, right around 15. As we saw Vincent Cortez there get a little bit sideways, and he's actually running down as an independent this week from the Xfinity Series.
Yeah, he was a truck regular last season, had an absolutely fantastic season with them, moved up to Xfinity and having another fantastic season, running second in the points and, running really consistent every week. So might just be out there getting some practice for the race tomorrow where he's actually scoring points in. But yeah, great to see him out there in the 69 truck machine again. Seth Reed our points leader in the Xfinity Series, also out there running in a cool Nirvana truck for the 81 machine. That's a really nice truck out there, Landon.
Yeah, and this doesn't surprise me at all to see some of the Xfinity guys running down, trying to, not perfectly try to win this race tonight, just get some on-track time, get some practice on their belt so they can get a feel for what this track is going to be like tomorrow in the Xfinity car.
What are we doing, Landon? We're up here in the booth. We didn't get the invite.
Hey, I tried. They told me it was full.
Yeah, well, producer Sean doesn't let me go have fun out there, so I'm stuck up here in the booth tonight, but I love commentating for these truck guys. Man, they have put on an absolutely fantastic season so far here, and right now, one having a great race is the 51 machine. He is just building on that gap. Looks very smooth out here, not showing any tires locking up and just really hitting those turtles perfectly. So he is not scrubbing off any time out there, building on his teammate, the 2 machine of Edward Shearer.
Yeah, when you're on a road course, this is where you want to be. You want to be out front with a nice gap, no pressure from behind. So you don't. That way you can have this gap, take care of your stuff, and then you'll slowly start pulling farther and farther away because the guy behind you's got to push to catch up with you. And when he pushes, he's just burning up his stuff, and it allows you to pull away.
Helps too when it is your teammates. So you guys are constantly communicating, and that pressure is just a little bit, less when you're battling with your teammates. So they're going to race you right, and you don't have to have that little devil on your shoulder worrying about them racing you a little bit too hard. But right now we got a nice hard battle here. Daniel King Jr., another Xfinity Series regular, running down here with the truck boys tonight. Really nice McConey setup shop truck out there in the 45 machine. Just got passed by Michael Madden. Michael Madden, another really sneaky good road course driver out there. And just to give you a little bit of insight on him, he's been running all season with one hand. He had some surgery on his arm or hand, and he just got that cast off today, luckily for the Roval, where it really requires both hands out there.
Yeah, we ran, as you see Michael York around there off of, I believe that's turn 1, yep. Coming into turn 2 right there out off of pit road. But back to Michael Madden, we were running practice races earlier in the season, and he was beating all of us with one hand. I'm like, dude, this guy is good. So, I expect now that he's got the cast off, I think we'll really start to see him ramp up and win some races.
He never shied away from letting us, reminding us that he was racing with one hand. Right here, we're watching Emerson Ardon battle my co-commentator, Brandon Domain, out there. We mentioned he is not in the booth with us tonight. I have my buddy, my teammate, Landon Lacey up here because Brandon Domain really enjoys racing these road courses and just wanted to get out there like the rest of these guys are and kind of build some confidence out there on the track. Doing so right now, running a really solid 12th in that beautiful 02 machine, unable to run his normal number of 20 because someone else is using it, but still having a great race out here tonight.
Yeah, the old broadcaster still got it in him. He can still go out there and run it with the boys. But, man, nice looking truck. You know me, I like my paints. And he's running my favorite color, orange. So, man, I got nothing but respect for that car.
Yeah, so we'll be keeping tabs on him tonight. Wish we'd be able to check in with him during his race. But like we mentioned, there are no full course cautions tonight. If anything happens, we will only have section cautions. And right here, you see it. This would normally probably bring out a caution. Jack Johnson getting around as they come back out onto the oval, but keeps it going. And luckily, nobody else getting involved. We're going to see that so much tonight because, Landon, this track, it might not look like it, from the stands when you're watching a typical, Charlotte Oval race. But this course has a lot of elevation changes, which really make your truck kind of get loose and squirrely. Cody Riggs overshooting the chicane. He's going to have to stop and give up some time here.
He's going to have to take a time penalty, I believe, since he didn't stop. But that's just the trickiness of this racetrack. You can easily overshoot corners just by missing your braking point by a millisecond.
Absolutely. But yeah, like you said, you'll see it. If we can go on board with Cole Martin here, so he's going to really try and woe this truck down heading into this backstretch chicane, try to hit these turtles as flushly as he can, really get into the gas here, going through the gears, and it's going to bring you around the oval turns here. I believe these are turns 13 and 14, bringing you around to turn 15 and 16, bringing you to the stripe. He's really hard to break right here because you're carrying so much speed, getting all the way down to first gear, trying to hit these corners and these apexes perfectly. As you see someone not execute it perfectly, John Taylor getting a little loose there going to the infield. But this is the part of the track I wanted to show you guys. You see how much it rises right here, and then it drops off as you're taking a left turn. That is one of the toughest parts of the track. Another hill right here. You come down and go through this uneven section right here where you're going to try and carry so much speed on the exit, go over the curb. That can get you a little bit in trouble. And then right here, you're carrying a lot of speed, going through the gears, downshifting aggressively. Another hill, kind of blind a little bit, and then it dips down and it goes right back up, and it just makes your truck so loose.
Yeah, you kind of get lost on this track sometimes. I'm not specifically lost. I mean, when you run enough practice at this track, you know where you are on track. It's just the elevation changes tend to confuse you. Holland on around, and Brandon Domain gets into him.
Nowhere to go for Brandon, unfortunately. He's got some heavy damage, something that might be playing into his benefit. Like you mentioned, damage isn't going to slow you up too much. It's not going to help you by any means on these road courses, but we are nearing the end of our first fuel run. So these guys will be coming down pit road shortly, but hey, we got a little bit of a battle heating up here for the lead. Shearer is cutting down that lead. As he mentioned, Cole Martin might be burning through those tires a little bit. That lead was over 2 seconds. It is below 1 second right now. And knock, Cole, your teammate is looking for 3 straight.
Yeah, this is something I've been watching the past couple laps, especially on the leaderboard. We had a shot of Cole a couple laps ago, and I was looking, I was like, I think the 2 car's a little closer than he's been lately. And for sure, he's been bringing it down. I didn't know if it was because they were, inside the inner course of the track and to the oval, because when you get out to the oval, your lead will actually stretch out. As we see some lap traffic here for Cole, and they'll most likely just move over for him, seeing that this track is a little bit harder than your regular oval, so most guys will just move out of the way, try not to make any issues with the leaders.
It looked harmless there. That was a really bad spot for Cole Martin to have to go wide on a turn. That really killed his speed through that section of the track, and that only helped the 2 truck get that much closer. Shearer not really pushing the case too much yet as he sees that 51 getting bigger, but this is definitely something we're going to keep our eyes on here as this battle for the lead has tightened up quite a bit. Bowdler sitting just under 4 seconds back with their teammate Nathan Mon just back there in 4th, a little bit under 8 seconds back.
Yeah, and it looks like Domain went down pit road and took his fast repair. Probably had that front end damage from getting into Emerson Ardon, and probably a good idea because it might lead to overheating, hitting the front end like that. So a pretty good idea to come down pit road and get that fixed.
Did look pretty crunched up, but just to speak on lap traffic and picking it up at the right place, that time it looked like Cole did get it in the right spot. Shearer got a little bit of trouble getting past him that time, and that was a 4/10 benefit to Cole Martin. Still a lot of time in this race, but it's awesome to see these guys running so close to one another 10 laps in, so I am optimistic that we are going to have quite the battle here between these 2 guys when it comes down to the end of this race, Landon.
Yeah, and we kind of cut there to Danny Setzer off the track, and I feel like we're going to be doing that a lot tonight. And we might not be able to get to point out every single one of them because we're talking about some other action going on track. But you're going to see a lot, like right here. Here you go, Walt Lepicki spun around. I don't quite know where that is. I believe that's off.
That was the backstretch chicane. Yeah,
I believe that's off the bus stop.
Some heavy damage as you see the leaders go on by. I believe Walt Lepicki's going to have to come down pit road. Great finish last week at Dover, but struggling here tonight in week 4 at the Roval. We still have a 1 second gap here between these 2. Cody Riggs also with some heavy damage after he's coming out of turn 2, heading into turns 3 and 4. One of the toughest parts on the track because you're just trying to dig right here, but you can't. That grip just isn't there. Wow, someone back there, Taylor Smith, really getting hard into the bus stop. He has engine damage as he's got smoke coming out from that truck.
Yeah, I'm gonna say he probably locked it up going into the bus stop and completely just spun it. and looks like he's hit the wall a ton.
Lots of chaos out here tonight. Like we mentioned, you know, this is easily my favorite track on the circuit. I'm a little biased as I live here in Charlotte and able to attend all of these races. I got to go to the one last year during the hurricane, and it was epic. But man, it is one of the tougher tracks on iRacing. You know, these stock cars are just a handful when it comes down to it. But so far, someone really making up some great time. We just tuned into him right here. Sean Jensick already up to 21st. He was one of the first ones to come down pit road after he was involved in that lap 1 incident. 10 laps later, he's back in the top 20.
Yeah, Troy Techmeyer there spun off 1. But back to Jensick, you know, I was kind of watching him earlier in the week, and he was running some really, really good lap times. So I'm not surprised at all to see him working his way back up through the field.
He's going to be picking up a few more here because, you know, he's making his work past, not sure who that is. I believe it might have been Jeremy Duncan. I'm not exactly sure. A little bit different looking truck there. He's got to avoid. Yeah, I'm not sure who that was either. A bit of a different truck. Oh, is that Rob? No, here's Rob Yost right here. The 23 of Michael York getting into a little bit of trouble, throwing the cones all over the track. It is absolute chaos out there, and eventually these leaders are going to be taking part in this chaos as they are starting to lap the field more and more. And Shearer, Martin, that gap not really changed much, still 7/10.
Yeah, and
that's a lot closer than that now, as he is right on the bumper of that 51.
Yeah, sure, really closing the gap. And like I said a couple laps ago, we're going to see a lot of guys off the racetrack. It's really easy to lose control of your truck here. And like I said, after a couple laps losing those rear tires, you know, we're going to see a lot more of that as the night progresses. But sure, definitely closing the gap on his teammate Cole Martin.
Cole Martin has taken note just how much faster that 2 is on certain part of the tracks. Maybe going to take care of those tires a little bit better next time, but still doing a great job holding the lead, so he must not be doing too bad with the tires himself. You know, Shearer has to get by him. As we see, I believe that was Matt Johnson behind them going through the front stretch chicane, getting a little bit of loose. He's going to get it back going as third place truck of Daniel Bowdler almost gets into him there. Right here, this is the battle for the lead heading into turns 3 and 4. These guys are really just sending these trucks in there. A great battle between teammates out there on track.
Yeah, and I still believe Shearer is just a tad bit quicker than Cole Martin, and he keeps showing it every lap. He just gains a 10th here, a 10th there, and he's right up on his back bumper now as they are about to come out onto the oval section of the racetrack.
Seeing green flag pit stops here shortly. We'll find out if they're going to be running the same strategy or not. You mentioned it's about a 15 lap window that they're going to have, so we'll see if anybody decides to bring it down a little early this time by, as that would still get them to the end with one more stop. We'll find out exactly everyone's strategy as these two round the backstretch chicane, still bumper to bumper. Shearer only 1 or 2 trucks back, sitting there in striking distance.
Yeah, it looks like Shearer is a little bit better on corner entry, but it looks like Martin might be a little bit better on corner exit, which is going to help you out more, and it's going to make it hard for Shearer to get past Martin.
Well, this is not what Taylor Smith needed. He is out of power, it looks like. Not sure. His truck looked like it was repaired, but maybe just calling it quits out there. Maybe not his night here at the Roval. Cole Martin's going to have to work by the 224 machine of Cody Riggs on turn 2. Yeah, Cody Riggs getting big time into the wall there, trying to stay out of the way of our leaders. 71 of Travis Trevelyan. He's going to be sitting. Oh, he reset, luckily, as our leaders were coming his way. It is just absolute chaos out there. And, you know, and this is Cole Martin getting loose. He is spun out.
Wow. Cole Martin goes around, and Shearer goes right on by and waves as he passes him.
Yep. Yeah, here comes Daniel Bowdler, the independent, running out of Roval Motorsports. He's going to be right on Cole Martin's bumper, and that was a 6-second mistake for Cole Martin. No damage for the 51 machine, but the damage being that gap back to the 2 machine right now.
Yeah, 6 seconds. That's a lot of time to have to catch up, because most likely we're not going to see a full course caution unless for some odd reason we just have a massive pileup. So, 6 seconds is going to be really, really hard to make up.
To pay attention to that, but sitting pretty right now, Ed Shearer, he has the big lead out there. He might be down pit road now as the Delta, back to Cole Martin. Nope, he is still out there on track, just having trouble getting around some lap cars, it looks like. So that caught Cole Martin up if our timing and scoring is right. Another truck getting loose back there in the turn one. Kyle Wimble kind of stuck in the wall potentially. That does happen to these trucks out here in iRacing. It's happened to me before at the Daytona Roval, where you just get a little bit loose, and if you hit that wall right, you can't back out. So that might have been what we just saw right there with Kyle Wimble.
Yeah, and I believe we have I don't know what happened to Cole Martin, but all of a sudden either he pitted or something, because he's back to fifth. Yeah, he's 20 seconds off the lead now.
Yeah, he's got some damage this time too. He must have got into the wall or something. But that 51 has had a tough last lap, going from first to fifth, and now 18 seconds back of the guy he was racing with for the lead. Shearer has an 11-second lead out there.
It's looking really good for your pick tonight. I kind of handed you one, but
Hey, I appreciate that. How do you not take the guy with 2 straight wins? Bowdler also heavy right front damage. He's going to have to get that repaired. I'm wondering if it was between these two drivers. Kind of hard for us to go back. I think our producer is going to try and figure out exactly what happened to see if it was. Let's see. We're riding along here with Daniel Ballard. Cole Martin just in front of him. Let's see exactly what happened here. I wonder if it was involving Cole Martin and Walt Lipicki with the Kyle Wimble machine stuck there. Not sure if we can go on board with Cole Martin this time.
And he just had nowhere to go. The whole track from wall to wall was blocked.
Oh, that's his teammate Michael York, not Walt Lipicki. Excuse me, it's another orange truck. But yeah, he sent it in there. Turn one, he just really sent it in there. Turn one, got loose and caused a big pile up involving his teammate Michael York and his Xfinity Series teammate Daniel Bowdler. So some Roval Motorsports trucks getting some heavy damage. They're going to have to get that fixed when they decide to come down pit road.
Yeah, and Greg, as I said earlier, as long as you can keep your truck on track, you will have a shot to win this race. And Edward Shearer is showing you why. As long as you keep your truck on the track, you will win this race. 15-second lead over his teammate Nathan Mann.
Yeah, and you mentioned the name Nathan Mann, having just a clean race. If you look at that 21 machine, there is not a scratch on it. He is keeping that thing clean, smooth, and it's gotten him up to second place. He started the race in fifth, so he had good speed. But right now, he's got a little bit of damage there.
Yeah, I was about to say, I
didn't see that.
A little bit of left side damage on that truck.
His truck looks a lot better than others. We'll leave it at that.
Yeah,
He's doing a great job keeping that truck straight.
Better than most.
Well, he's had a great run so far after stepping down from the Xfinity Series into the trucks. He's looking to build on that as he is up to second and pulling away from Daniel Bowdler back there in third. Blair Holloman starting to move up the standings, running in fourth, with Mike Mosby up to fifth now. Cole Martin is back there in sixth.
Yeah, I'm actually a little bit surprised. We're seeing these guys go a little bit farther on fuel than I thought they could. Looking like we could possibly make it to halfway and make this a one-stop race.
That seems to be the strategy. Otherwise, I feel like we would have seen people come down by now, and that would have really set back some people if they did decide to do a two-stop strategy. So everyone must be pretty confident that they can make it the whole way on one stop. Cole Martin really getting into the brakes there, kind of making him a little loose. He's got a gaggle of trucks to get by here with nowhere to go.
It looks like Daytona or Talladega at a road course, and that's not what you want at a track like this.
Yeah, Cole Martin going to have more company here shortly. Michael Madden sitting just a second and a half back of him with a very clean truck. He is licking his chops, hoping to pick up one more spot. And, just ahead of him, Mike Mosby is sitting there in fifth. So Michael Madden looking really good so far in the 15 truck. And like we said on all these trucks, they've got some sort of damage, and he must have pancaked the wall on that left side somewhere, because the right side's beautiful.
Yeah, he actually got that damage on that lap one incident that we saw going into turn one, and since then doesn't look like he's added anything else to it.
Just to give you an update, Michael York has disconnected from this race, so he is out of the contention here had a rough run out there with his teammates and decided to back up the truck. But Shearer is just absolutely dominating this race now. He is up to 16 seconds on second place, Nathan Mon.
Yeah, just basically out for a Sunday drive at the moment. Has no sort of competition behind him. No one pushing him hard. He's just out there to be out there and save all of his stuff that he can.
You know, he could essentially loop it like we saw, Cole Martin do in front of him and whip it back around in time and still have a pretty big lead. That is just to give you some perspective on how much he is dominating this race. He was excited last week when we interviewed him after his Dover win to be, in contention for 3 straight wins heading into this week. And now we know why.
Robert Yost Jr. around it. Oh, and that's not what you want to do when you're trying to get this thing straightened up.
Yeah, he's going to have some spoiler damage. Yeah, he's going to have to really work to not get anybody else involved. We see Brandon Domain, our broadcaster, up here. He's out there tonight, able to get by Rob Yost cleanly there. But like I just said, Michael Madden now picking up another spot over Cole Martin. Cole has dropped from 1st to 7th.
Yeah, just... those a couple laps ago with him getting all that damage, and it's probably hurting the performance of his truck as well. So that's why we're seeing him fall even farther back.
You see it there. We got 2 Xfinity regulars there as well as Bowdler sitting in the top 10. Seth Reed sitting there in 8th. Vincent Cortez sitting there in 9th. Jacob Zala just moving into the top 10. But, 10th place is 54 seconds back. That is just to give you some context on how fast this 2 truck is. Looking to put another truck down here. The 64 of Walt Lipicki going to get out of his way and give him a little bit of leniency heading into this backstretch chicane as he just gets through there so smoothly every time, just building on that lead over his teammate.
Yeah, one truck I want to point out is Sean Jensick. He's just moved up in the top 15. We saw him earlier go down pit road and have to take his fast repair really early and fall back, but he just broke into the top 15 and he's trying to get 14th from Bobby Anderson right here.
Yeah, great rebound for him. He got into a little bit of trouble heading there into turn 1. Nothing to his doing. Just that is the nature of the beast when we come here to the Roval, but doing a great job of keeping that focus in his head and building on every position that he has in front of him. He won as we almost gets a loose there heading around that turn as we head back out onto the oval, but he is just stalking this 18. It looked like he might have got into the wall right there. Cole Martin going to come down pit road this time, and I have to imagine if we stay on this, we will see that truck magically fix itself.
Yeah, good decision to go, and this is right in the fuel window. If you're looking to go halfway, run 20 laps on your first set of tires and run the last 20 on your other set, then this is the perfect time to pit. And he's been losing time, so why not come in earlier than everybody else?
It's going to have a lot of time to make up there, but there you see it, a fresh new truck for last season's champion. Daniel Bowdler just now coming out of pit road, so this is the time we've been waiting for. They are going to try and one-stop this thing. Not sure if everybody can make it as we are down to 21 to go. I have to imagine we'll see Shearer come down this time as he is leading this thing. Yep, he's going to get a nice entry into pit road. Woe it down when he gets to that yellow cone. Nicely done, keeping that truck nice and smooth. Nathan Mon is probably going to bring that 21 machine down as well.
Yeah, I mean, and I wouldn't be, yeah, as here he comes now. When the leader pits, it kind of forces your hand. You're probably not on the same strategy, but you don't want to lose time. I mean, they've already lost a ton of time too sure as it is, but you don't want to lose more by staying out on old tires.
Yeah, and there's usually a benefit to doing this as well. You have the chance for a caution to come out and give you that track position. We don't see that at road courses, so there really isn't that much of a benefit to staying out. But right now, one of the guys doing it is going to be Blair Holloman, and we're going to go check in a crash here. I believe Daniel Bowdler just wrecked and towed the truck to the pits, and he already used that fast repair as well, so his night could be over.
Yeah, that's a tough pill to swallow, running top 5 and possibly end your night here halfway through the race. It's hard to run good and then have something happen that takes you out, and it hurts from the inside, makes your stomach hurt almost.
does indeed. Unfortunate for him, but still, keep his head held high as he had a good run here tonight that he can carry over into tomorrow where, that's the race that matters for Daniel Bowdler is the Xfinity Series race. So out here turning laps tonight, having some fun with the boys and, trying to make a little bit of cash at the same time, but not going to happen as he is probably done for the night. But right here, our leader after, we're almost done with this green flag cycle of pit stops is Blair Holloman. He will probably bring it down this time. I can't imagine he has much more fuel. Danny Setzer around right here in turns, I believe, 5 and 6. Here comes Blair Holloman, our current the lead over to Shearer. That just shows you how close Shearer was to him. Mike Mosby as well coming down pit road.
Yeah, we saw Holloman come down pit road. Holloman was in the top 10 before all of this pit cycle started. And when Shearer came out of pit road, he was only 4 seconds behind Holloman. That just tells you how big of a lead Shearer had before he pitted.
Yeah, well, just to give you some perspective as well, Nathan Mon, his teammate, was about 17, 18 seconds back of him before those round of pit stops started. Now, Mon is sitting just about 21 seconds back of him. This is an absolute clinic right now that Shearer is putting on these guys.
Yeah, and he probably gained a little bit of time because Shearer actually pitted, I believe. No, they did pit on the same lap, so I'm guessing Shearer just got in and got off a little bit quicker than Mon did, and probably gained a little bit of time after that as well.
There you have it. After this round of green flag pit stops, we've had some chaos take place in the midst of that. And, we have a new look top 5. Edward Shearer going to be first. Nathan Mon going to be second. Blair Holloman running third now. Mike Mosby up to 4th. And Seth Reed, the Xfinity Series points leader, is running 5th in that 81 machine.
Yeah, then you have Michael Madden in the 15. Sean Jensick up to 7th. We were just talking about him making it into the top 15, and now he's up in the top 10.
He's yet to pit.
Okay, did not know that. Thank you for that information. Brandon Domain up to 8th. Emerson Ardon in 9th. And Landon Cardullo, my pick, in 10th.
Yeah, great rebound by Jensick nonetheless. But, yeah, he is still out there on old tires. But, yeah, great to see him back up there. But Brandon Domain, another one of those drivers who has yet to pit. He pitted early on, I imagine, because he had that damage that he needed to get fixed after contacting Emerson Ardon around 5 and 6. Walt Lipicki going to throw some cones out there on the track. I'm sure Edward Shearer got a little bit worried there seeing that, but got by him clean nonetheless. Here's Jensen coming down pit road this time.
Right, and you're probably right. You remember he came down pit road, had to take his fast repair. He probably went ahead and took a little bit of fuel as well, so able to run a little bit farther than our leaders could.
So we'll see exactly where he comes back out on track, but like you mentioned, he had already climbed back into the top 15 before those round of pit stops started. But right here, the man on the mission is Edward Shearer. Has win number 3 on the season, all but locked up, but he has got a really tough turn here as you see Dave Hughes Jr. really woe it up in front of him, trying to let him by there cleanly, but that is a tough turn to pass anybody in. But Shearer makes it look easy.
Yeah, and this is not a place to make something like this look easy. I mean, we know here at SRN that all these guys out here are very talented drivers, so to come out here and be leading by 20 seconds over second place is just absolutely unheard of.
Yeah, I'm hoping for our own sake that Mr. Shearer is not going to be attending the Xfinity Series race tomorrow. Otherwise, I'm a little worried.
I'm not.
Absolutely dominating. I know you're not. Me and your teammate, I know how confident you are. But, he is going to be definitely a contender if he decides to run out there tomorrow. Let's go back a little bit further on the back. Good rebound by Mr. Techmeyer out here in that 32 Nebraska Cornhuskers machine. Up to 21st, and he had a little bit of trouble early on in the race, but seems to be running really consistent laps now.
Yeah, I feel like I've been saying this a lot, but there was quite a couple trucks in that wreck on lap 1, and he was one of them. And just slowly and methodically working his way through the field one by one, and I believe we'll still see him in top 15 come the end of the race.
Well, I know we've been talking a lot about those guys that were involved in that first. Whoa, and Jonathan Byer gets really loose heading through the chicane. He could not stop that truck. he able to not really get much damage on it. Luckily for him, as the leaders were going by right here.
Yeah, right in front of second place Nathan Mon, and but Sean Jensick back down pit road again.
Yeah, he must have had a speeding penalty or something, maybe fixing some damage. Not exactly sure. But Landon, I want to go ahead and give a shout out to your pick tonight. Landon Cardullo was also involved in that first lap incident in turn number 1. This guy is up to 9th place with a pretty beat up truck.
Yeah, God, he might be a minute back, and that's going to be a lot to try to gain here in 16 laps. But good rebound is going to help him in the points, and it just kind of helps his profile out because he's new to the league. We haven't really seen him much, but to come back through the field at a road course is not something that's very easy.
Yeah, he might be new to the league, but man, we have talked about him quite a bit here in the first 4 weeks of the season. A great addition to Jonathan Bayer Racing. Going to definitely help them stay in contention of the team standings with a great run here tonight. But yeah, right here, looks like Roval Motorsports is going to be building on those team standings as we see Kyle Wimble through the front stretch chicanes, and then Lucas Lyons going to also be going for a ride over those turtles. And those turtles are very aggressive, right, Landon?
Oh yeah, those things it's almost like hitting off a ramp. Those things, they don't look that big, from our view here and from the view inside, the race car. It's not, they don't look that big, but when you hit them, you just feel how massive they are. They could take your truck when you hit them and just push the whole thing off to a whole different line that you weren't expecting to run.
Yeah, they make them that aggressive because people before would just exploit the normal red and white curves that we'll see sometimes on the track. They could just run right over those things with really no consequences. And NASCAR was like, nah, no more. We're gonna put these big old bumps here, those blue curves that'll really upset your truck. And I mean, in real life racing, that would cause some damage to your vehicles. So not really so much on iRacing. It doesn't really get you too much damage, but it will cost you a significant amount of time.
Yeah, I want to see them try those turtles out in F1 racing. I want to see how that goes.
I don't think we'll ever see that happen. But yeah, that would be fun to watch nonetheless. Those cars would probably take off and just fly to wherever you wanted to go. Right here, someone flying wherever he wants to go, which is Victory Lane, is going to be Ed Shearer coming to lap 25, taking lap 26 now as we're down to 14 to go here in the 90-mile Roval race tonight. It is just ticking off here, and that is because he is putting down a blistering pace on the field. He's got a 24-second lead over his teammate Nathan Mon.
It's almost like his truck is on a slot car track. It's so smooth. He's not all over the place. He's just running a fine line, and that's why he's so far ahead right now.
Yeah, we just saw Vincent Cortez get into the flowers there, heading back out onto the oval, but he's able to keep it going right, still sitting there in 10th after getting himself into a little bit of trouble. Jonathan Bayer, we saw him get into a little bit of trouble there on the bus stop in the backstretch, running a solid 13th tonight. But I mean, nothing's going to compare to what we're seeing right now from this tube machine. He is just putting the clinic on here tonight.
Yeah, this man seems to have no kryptonite. It seems like wherever we go, he's always up front and then contending for a win, just like he is again here tonight.
It's really probably putting this field of trucks on watch, on notice. And I mean, the only race that he hasn't won so far this year is Daytona, and that race is just really up for grabs. And it's kind of funny because if you go back and you watch the race replay from that race, he was trying to win the race, but he was a lap down. He was up there racing with the leaders at the end, making a pass on the outside, but unfortunately for him, was not on the lead lap.
Yeah, and like you said, Daytona is just it's a coin flip on whether or not you're even going to have a shot at the win there. And man, Danny Setzer's been having a rough time out there tonight. It just seems like every time we look up, he's around at some point on the racetrack. But he's not the only one. There's been a couple of guys out here tonight. They're just not having a good night.
See some of our leaders go by him right here. Landon Cardullo, he's running down that 57 machine, trying to get 7th place from the Cup regular and Emerson Ardon in the 57, making up some good time on him, steadily making up ground that he lost in that turn 1, lap 1 incident. We got a battle right here between Sean Jensick and Bobby Anderson. Bobby Anderson's just going to let him have it as Jensick is down a lap. He's just really sending that truck. You can see how loose it is. Bobby Anderson running really slow right here.
Yeah, he got really loose, and I believe he spun around after Jensick went by him right there.
Looks like he might just be trying to ride out these last 13 laps. As you see it there under his name, he is the leader of his own team now, Bobby Anderson Racing. And not the best first race for them, but still great to see them out there tonight. You know, he's got his teammates Evan Scott and Jason Kratke as well, but none of them are running in the top 10. Evan Scott was involved in that turn 1, lap 1 incident as well. So kind of set behind the 8 ball there to begin with, but still, just they're going to build on their success throughout the season. Cody Riggs, we've seen him have some trouble tonight, running a solid 14th. So I know for a fact that he was not looking forward to this road course race, and he is going to probably be tickled to death with a 14.
Yeah, and I wanted to point something out. I was just looking over on the leaderboard and just noticed that Cole Martin is not out on the track. I don't know, you know, we saw him fall back to fifth, and I don't even believe he's out on the track anymore.
Yeah, it says he's out running 35th. Oh, and Seth Reed, our Xfinity Series leader, gets big time into the wall there. That is going to be some heavy damage on that 81 Nirvana machine on the right side. You see it there. He's got some big time damage. That's not going to help his case. But he's got a big lead right now. Michael Madden running 4th. And I just saw the ticker mess up there. He's running 5th. So Michael Madden is going to be smelling blood in the water now. That's going to really hurt the 81's turn through this track. See if that 15 can make up those 6-7 seconds.
Yeah, back up front, Ed Shearer again, just with him. And to be honest with you, I think he's taken a little bit easy because his lead has come down just slightly. Not much. He was about 25, 26. It's down to 23. But I really think that has to do with lap traffic and him just knowing that he has a good enough gap that if he just runs smoothly from here on out, there's no way they're going to catch him.
Yeah, that's really smart by him, and that just goes to show you the experience that he has out here on these road courses. Why would you push it through those turns when it just can really get away from you at any moment? And that's not to say, you know, like I mentioned earlier, he could easily spin it out and keep it going and have that lead still. But who's to say someone else doesn't hit you and really give you some significant damage as he's driving around these lap cars, which is definitely in the realm of possibilities. So a great call, like you just mentioned, Landon. He is most likely taking it easy right now.
Yeah, I mean, he might be taking it easy right now, but he's not taking it easy on the field. We only have 8 cars on the lead lap right now.
Yeah, that is absolutely insane. Lucas Lyons going to be the first one a lap down. Brandon Domain, he is sitting inside the top 10. I think Seth Reed is now out of the race as well. He was running 5th, like I just mentioned earlier. Michael Madden was going to try and run him down. Rob Yost, in between turns 1 and 2, is going to spin his truck around. But yeah, I think Seth Reed might be out of this race now as well, or he has lost significant positions as Michael Madden has moved into the top 5. Emerson Ardon's going to be running 6th with your pick. Landon Cardullo up to 7th now.
Yeah, and, you know, I know Cardullo had some damage earlier, but he's actually been matching the lap times to Ed Shearer, but being 59 seconds behind, it's just with 10 to go. It's just he's just going to have to pick up what he can get.
He's going to have to pray for a caution, which I can answer it for him. It is not going to happen, as we have no full course cautions here tonight. Jason Kratke out of Bobby Anderson Racing, getting into a little bit of trouble. That is one of the tougher turns in this whole track because that is another one of those blind turns that we mentioned earlier, and you're trying to make that turn so tight so you carry momentum through turns 1 and 2 on the oval and down the backstretch heading into the chicane, the bus stop back there. And if you really don't get the momentum you need, that is a big, spot where you can lose time.
Yeah, coming out of the infield onto the oval, it goes from flat into a bank corner. So when you come out of there and you hit the banking, it kind of wants to just shoot you up toward the wall. As we see Lucas Lyons a little sideways again, as well as I believe that was Kyle Wimble.
Yeah, all these trucks really showing some heavy damage out there. But at a certain point, you use up that fast repair after the first pit stop, and you got to keep it going. And Lucas Lyons has done a great job of that. We saw him use it earlier when he got some damage there early on in the race, able to work his way back up to a top 10. So a great run by the rookie out of Rev Racing, up there with his teammate Michael Madden also running the top 5. Walt Lipicki around again out of turn 4. That is another tough. I'm just going to go ahead and say all these turns are tough. If you're not on the oval, it is absolutely crazy how much the elevation changes and how that just changes the feel of your truck. So that is why we are seeing all this chaos happen in front of whether it's leaders or just lap cars spinning out. We saw Cole Martin, last season's champion, who had a win at COTA last year, spin it out and lose the lead doing so. So that just goes to show you it can happen to anybody.
Yeah, I mean, as you see, Don Milkowitz here spun around. Oh, and again, that's not how you want to straighten out your car. You don't want to cause more damage trying to get straightened out. But he's just trying to get off track and out of everybody's way. So, tip of the hat to him for not wanting to ruin anybody else's race. But again, Edward Shearer out here, and he's actually extended that gap over Nathan Mon. He's actually almost extended it 10 seconds since we were last looking at him, up from 23 to 32.
I think he's just having fun picking on the field at this point, as he's got Jacob Zala running 8th place just in front of him. He's going to try and put him a lap down here. He is just bearing down on that 25 machine. Jacob Zala, one of the rookies here in SRN this season, out of tank racing, having a really good run to start. Jacob's just going to let him by, knowing that's the leader. Doesn't want to cause any trouble for him, and he wants to keep a good finish for him tonight. 8th is a great points day for him after getting into a little bit of trouble at Dover last week. You see it right here, a battle for 5th. Emerson Ardon has caught Michael Madden. Michael getting a little loose after turn 1. We got a lot of traffic that they're going to try and get by here. You got the 4 machine of John Taylor just behind them now, as Rob Yost was also there. This is going to be really the only battle on track right now, and it's for a top 5 paint position.
I'll tell you what, Michael Madden has really worked his way up through this field. He was probably, after the turn 1 incident that he was a part of, he was probably about 15th. I think he was from the 15th to 17th range. And to be back up in the top 5, I talked to him a little bit earlier in the week, and he said he wanted to come out with a top 10 finish. So he's overperforming what he wanted to get out of this week.
Absolutely. So he is going to have to really hold on tight and really get everything he can out of that 15 truck if he's going to want to hold on to that top 5 paying position to get his money back on the evening. Right now, the 57 really working that bumper. He's going to truly try and get a good run out of the backstretch chicane through turns 3 and 4 on the oval here, and heading into this front stretch chicane. They are going to really have to get on the brakes and not hit each other. He's going to send it in there deep, and he's not going to have the position to do so. He's going to hit those turtles. That's going to really get his truck nice and loose, and that's going to give Michael Madden a little more time than he had heading into those set of turns.
Yeah, this is the point where if you're Michael Madden, you don't want to look in your mirror. You just want, because here, if you look in your mirror and miss something, you're going to miss a whole corner, and you're going to lose a lot more than just one. I know we're kind of split up here, but I mean, you might end up in the wall and lose more than one spot. So you really just want to focus on hitting your marks, running your own line, and just really trust that your spotter is going to make the right calls for you.
Just to go ahead and point it out, I do not think Ed Shearer is letting up at all. He has got a 32-second lead over his teammate now. He has really extended it, as he is just... Oh, and Michael Madden gets into the wall there.
Oh, that's... Man.
He's going to have a lot of damage. Landon Cardulo going to get by him as well. Going to pick up 6th.
This is what I was saying. You make a mistake and you're going to lose a couple positions. You got to just, what's going on behind you, you just got to, not even look at it. Just look out your windshield, focus on what you're doing. That way you don't make a mistake like that.
Lucky for Michael Madden, he's got about 20 seconds back to Jacob Zala, so he might be able to hang on to that 7th place run, which is a great run for him tonight. But yeah, we just saw right there again the 17 machine taking another ride around the Roval tonight in that 17. But yeah, like you mentioned, 64.
Him and Walt Lipicki are holding hands tonight. It seems like every time we look up, one of them is around. They're just not having a good night.
A little bit of anything you can do, I can do better. So maybe they're just showing each other. Travis Trevelyan taking out some signage out there. He must not like Spectrum Mobile. He's going to really try to stay out of the way here as he's going to go around turns 5 and 6 here, just limping that 71 around as you see the 5th place truck of Emerson Ardon go on by, followed closely by Landon Cardullo. Corey Knight also going off track in the same spot we just saw Trevelyan mow the grass in.
Yeah. Oh, Michael Madden again. A lot of front end damage on that truck.
Yeah, he's going to have to really hope that he doesn't have water temp spiking here and really blow an engine to really put a damper on what was going to be a really good points night for that 15. Still sitting in 7th, but that leader of Ed Shearer is going to be coming up really soon on his tail end to put him a lap down. And I'm not sure exactly because we lose the scoring after they go a lap down, but I have to imagine Zala has to know what's going on with Madden and potentially has the chance to pick up another position.
Yeah, anytime you're having a rough race and, anytime you're having a tough race and, you see someone else having a harder time that's in front of you, it just motivates you a little bit to run a little bit harder. You almost don't want to because you're having a hard time, but, you see that extra position that you can gain and extra points that you can have going toward the championship, and it just makes you want to, pick up yourself and run that extra, 10th.
Battle right now for 11. Sean Jensick going to be making a pass here on Jonathan Byer to pick up 11th place after we saw Sean have to make an extra pit stop. He is absolutely running the tail off of that 29 machine, and he has the potential to maybe get a top 10 tonight. Not sure exactly how far ahead of him Brandon Domain is, but just want to give a tip of the hat to Sean Jensick, a rookie here, winning in his first race of the season at Daytona, running a really strong race tonight. I know he had higher expectations after being fastest in practice yesterday, but still, with everything that's happened to him in that 29 machine, just now picking up 11th with 4 to go. We see Travis Trevelyan sitting there on the backstretch chicane. He's going to tow it and call it a night just to stay out of the way of the leaders. But yeah, I just wanted to give a tip of the cap to the rookie real quick. But Ed Shearer, another rookie, unlike any other we've seen before, he is going to come away with his 3rd win of the night. It's just a matter of time. He just has a few more laps to go. I don't even think I could jinx him out of it by saying that with the broadcaster's curse. He has he's almost got a half-track lead on 2nd place.
It's getting there. But, you were talking about Jensick, and he's just right there on the back bumper of Lucas Lyons for 10th. So it'd be interesting to see if he can, after all that early trouble that he had, bring out a top 10 and have a really, really good night. Sadly, he's going to have to pass his teammate, knock him out of that top 10 spot, but Jensick would love to see a top 10 after the night that he's had. But I'll tell you who is not regretting the night they've had, and that's Ed Shearer. He is having after he passed his teammate Colt Martin, he's not looked back. The only thing he's done is look forward and drive away. As you see, Sean Jensick passing Lucas Lyons for 10th.
Moving up into the top 10. But as we were just watching the 2 machine come around turns 3 and 4, I think that was the first mistake I saw, and I'm not even going to call it a mistake. I think that right or that left rear tire maybe touched the grass a little bit. I think that's the only thing I have on him the whole night.
There's a couple places here you can touch the grass because Charlotte, doesn't have real grass. They have AstroTurf. So you can actually put some tires in some of the places on this track. You can put tires in the grass, and if we keep up with Ed Shearer here, I can actually show you one spot where you can actually do that, and that's right here coming off the oval, you can actually dip your tires into the grass right here going into this last chicane, and the car won't jump sideways because it's not actually real grass, it's just AstroTurf.
Not taking your advice on that tomorrow. You have fun with that, but 2 to go for the 2 truck, trying to bring home 3 straight as he heads through turn 2. A whole heap of 2s here.
Oh, a lot of 2s, but Edward sure is looking for 3 wins in a row.
I'm gonna have to say, man, people are gonna start putting a bounty out on this guy, especially after the clinic he has put on them tonight. Oh, and he gets a little bit, he just sends it in there, but has so much control over that truck. It's an absolute joy to watch him just dominate this course.
Yeah, and I mean, after all that, the issues with Cole and the lead that they had on Bowdler, once Cole had his issues, sure could just put his truck on cruise control for the rest of the race, and I think that's what's really helped him get out to this big lead, is just being able to take care of his stuff.
Knight taking it for a ride again in that beautiful number 90 do-gooders machine. But as we exit the backstretch, Ed Shearer going to come to the white flag, and he is going to have one more lap to go in this Charlotte Roval 90. Just going to have to get through it cleanly, and I mean, you could just coast half throttle the rest of the way.
Yeah, as we see here, Chase Elliott take the white flag. I mean, Ed Shearer take the white flag. But no, really, Chase Elliott-esque here tonight. I mean, like I said, Chase has, been one of the best road course drivers lately, and Ed Shearer making that Napa Auto Parts car or truck run the way that it's looked out in real life, and just come out here and dominated here at the Roval.
Setting turns 5 and 6 now. Just going to really take it easy here. He's going to round turn 6, dip down for turn 7 and 8. 8's going to bring him back out onto the oval. Take it nice and easy, get some good speed heading out there. Doesn't clip the wall or anything, just makes it look real smooth. He's going to carry that speed all the way down the backstretch to the chicane. There's really no traffic in front of him. Behind him, he has clean track the rest of the way in a 35-second lead. There is absolutely no way he can screw this up at this point. I don't even think I could screw this up at this point. But yeah, he's going to come around turns 3 and 4 on the oval and just has one more set of turns to go through. And he is going to be your winner tonight as he rounds that front stretch chicane. Ed Shearer is going to have 3 straight wins as he does a little bit of burnout going through the stripe.
I think he could have stopped there on the front stretch, done a couple burnouts before he crossed the line with all that big gap that he had.
Yeah, absolutely. His teammate Nathan Mon, you just see how far back he is. He's going through the backstretch chicane now. This is second place. And but a great run by Nathan, as I don't think he was here last week for the truck race, so still going to have a good rebound after not getting any points last week. It's going to be a great points day for Roval Motorsports, getting first and second. So yeah, he's going to bring it home for that second place prize. The third RSR or RMS car, will be Troy Techmeyer in 18th. But yeah, Blair Holloman out of Zeos Racing going to bring it home in third in that beautiful 06 Matco Tools truck for Zeos. A great night for them. Mike Mosby out of Bar Racing, he moved over to Zeus Racing after R&D dissolved, having a great first run for them. So Zeus getting 3-4, RMS going to come home with 1 and 2. Nice little battle between those two teams today. Emerson Ardon, independent, out of the Cup Series for Tank Racing, is going to come home in 5th.
Yeah, Ed Shearer came out here and just laid it on him tonight. I mean, he came out here and done what he's done the past 2 weeks. He shows up, he runs a safe race, sits back there, waits for everybody to burn up their stuff, and then takes advantage when it's his turn at the reins. And I don't think we've seen anyone win 3 in a row. I don't think we saw anybody do it last season. So hats off to Ed Shearer for 3 in a row.
If they did, it was his teammate and last season's champion, Cole Martin, who won a heap of races last year, I believe 7. But right now, Ed Shearer is closing in on that number quickly as you see him get a little bit of a love tap from his teammate here, Troy Techmeyer giving him that tap. And Nathan Mon, the runner-up of tonight's race, is going to be right there behind him. But yeah, let's go through these standings once again as they are all finished out there on the track. That Chaos has subdued. Ed Shearer, your winner tonight. Nathan Mon going to be second. Blair Holloman coming home in third. Mike Mosby is going to be fourth with Emerson Ardon finishing fifth.
Yeah, then you have Landon Cardulo, my pick, with a great comeback after the lap 1 incident in sixth. Michael Madden still salvaged a seventh after all the issues he had at the end there. Jacob Zala finishes top 10 in eighth. Our buddy Brandon Domain finishes in top 10 with ninth. And Sean Jensick also makes a good comeback, finishing in the top 10.
Yeah, Lucas Lyons going to be in 11th. Jonathan Byer going to come home in 12th. Cody Riggs out of Rev Racing going to be 13th. Bobby Anderson 14th with Kevin Wanker in 15th. Jack Johnson going to be 16th. Andrew Harris, an independent out there, going to be 17th place tonight. Troy Techmeyer, we mentioned his name a little while ago, going to be 18th. Kyle Wimble, after all the trouble he had out there tonight, going to come away with 19th. And Daniel Keith Jr., stepping down from the Xfinity Series race, or Xfinity Series for this race, will be your 20th place finisher. And, yeah.
I just want to say something real quick. Ed Shearer just did a perfect reenactment of the Chase Elliott win at the Roval. He took it down into the first turn, did a burnout, and then on the wall, and then let it roll back, just like Chase Elliott's car did in 2019 for his Roval win.
And he is every shade of Chase Elliott out there, and he really showed it tonight. But yeah, I want to go ahead and give a mention to Cole Martin. We saw him battling with his teammate out there tonight and really having a great battle there too, leading the race to begin with. Had to disconnect though, unfortunately. We're hearing that his pet died, and we're so sorry to hear that, Cole. Our condolences from up here in the booth, man. That I can't imagine having to go through that during a race. Not to bring anybody down or rain on Ed Shearer's parade, but man, that is some terrible news.
Yep, Cole, we're all thinking about you and your family, and we'll definitely be praying for you tonight.
Well, let's go ahead and move on to the post-race interviews as Ed Shearer is just going to go for a little drive. He's not had enough yet. Let's go ahead and bring up tonight's third-place finisher. It's going to be Blair Holloman. He's got his first time up here in the SRN booth. Blair, it's Greg Olenik and Landon Lacey. Tell us about your race tonight in that 06 Matco Tools machine.
Yeah, it was definitely a drive to survive type of night. I knew I had decent enough speed to qualify up front, but looking through practice before the race, I knew I didn't have enough pace to try to contend for the win, but wanted to hang in and try to get a top 5.
Well, this is your first season in SRN. Tell us about how you've, been doing so far, what you think of it, and, how you're doing with your teammates over there at Zuyos Racing.
Yeah, it's definitely been a lot of fun. Definitely first season with the guys. I learned a lot from Rob Yost Jr. He's actually my older brother. But I practiced with those guys last season once a week with them, so it kind of got me acclimated to how SRN's kind of ran. But still, getting my feet wet and actually jumping into it's been a lot of change, and it's been quite fun actually.
What do you know? A little bit of trivia knowledge for us. You're the younger brother of the ultimate underdog, Rob Yost Jr. That's good to know, man. How do we expect you're going to be doing next week when we head to, what is it, Homestead, I believe?
Homestead is a track I haven't ran yet. I've tested at, but I've never ran with other trucks, so it's definitely going to be interesting. I know the top side's the fast way around the track, but I'm not quite certain on how it's going to go.
Man, we're excited to see you up here in the booth with that third place podium finish, man. You've had a really good start to the season so far, and I expect that to keep up. But before we let you go, do you have anybody you want to give a shout out to? Any people out there watching? Any sponsors?
Yeah, I want to give a quick shout out to we got BAPS Automotive Paint Supplies on the hood, and also Matco Tools with my tool guy Roy Salisbury. Those guys support me to be able to do this with you guys.
Awesome, man. Well, we're excited to see you up there In third place, a great run tonight, but we'll see how you do next week at Homestead. Ed Sheeran giving you a little bit of a bump there as he's still celebrating out there on the track, but you have some celebrating to do as well. Great run by you and your teammate there, Mike Mosby. A great run for Zuyos this week. So we'll go ahead and send you back down to them. And, you get to celebrate, man. So have a good night, Blair.
Yeah, thank you, guys. I'll catch you next week.
All right, that was our third place finisher tonight. He's going to go ahead and do a little more burnouts here because that is a reason to celebrate. Third place is hard to come by here in Speed Racing Network. Let's go ahead and bring up our runner-up tonight in that 21 machine. It's Nathan Mon. Nathan, it's Greg Olenik and Landon Lacey up here in the booth. Tell us about that race tonight, bud.
Man, I'll be honest with you. I was just excited to make it through turn one with no damage. That first lap there, I'm just glad everyone, up front kind of settled in, didn't try to be too aggressive. That was kind of my game plan for the whole night, just not be too aggressive, don't overdrive it, save my stuff, and, just take care of the car best I could.
Taking notes right now. Get through turn one tomorrow. As we're going to be at the same track for the Xfinity Series. But, man, RMS is absolutely rolling right now. Tell us about your experience so far and how it's really helping you propel your, results out there on the track.
Man, we got a great team here at RMS. I honestly couldn't ask for anything better. Great support system. Always somebody to reach out to. Always somebody, willing to help somebody else. And I think it's shown so far, with great finishes across all three series.
Yeah, and what are you guys going to have to do to get past your teammate Ed Shearer? He is absolutely dominating next season or this season. And I want to go ahead and lead that into another question. How do you expect to do at Homestead next week in the trucks?
Feel okay about Homestead. I haven't had a ton of practice on it, but I wish I could have ran up there a little bit with Ed tonight. I was just trying to be really cautious around those lap cars, and unfortunately that cost me a lot of time, but it's all good. Happy for Ed, happy for the team. Yeah,
win by Ed is a win for the team. So, yeah, great having him out here this season. But before we let you go, you got any sponsors, any family, any friends out there you want to go ahead and give a shout out to, bud?
Yeah, first of all, I just want to take a moment to shout out to my teammate Cole Martin. Unfortunately, he had to step away mid-race with a family emergency. So, my thoughts and prayers go out to him and his family. But as always, I want to thank my family and friends for always supporting me week in, week out. I'd like to thank my girlfriend, Amanda, for supporting. I know she's at the beach, but I know she's watching as well. And just, again, everyone at RMS. It's just been a great year so far, and I can't wait to keep it going.
Well, it sounds like we need to let you go back down to your team so you can get to celebrate and get out to the beach with your girlfriend, man, because it's absolutely fantastic weather right here in the midst of summer. But congratulations, Nathan, on your runner-up finish here, and we look forward to seeing you down the road at Homestead.
Thank you, guys. Have a good one.
All right. That was your runner-up tonight. Nathan Mon coming home in the second place position in this 21 Sun Drop machine. But someone who is getting quite familiar coming up here in the booth with the trophy in hand is going to be our back-to-back-to-back winner, Ed Shearer in the 2 machine. 3 straight wins, Ed. Tell me what you're thinking right now, bud.
Yeah, another one. I mean, it was a little surprising, but I'm gonna say first, condolences to Cole Martin. He had a family emergency, that's why he had to leave tonight's race. But major condolences to him, and this ring definitely for Cole and his family, what they're going through. Hopefully everything's okay. But Napa 2 Chevy was fantastic tonight. A little different color scheme tonight than usual, but I figured I had to bring an inner Chase Elliott out. He's so good here, so why not? But yeah, I was a little sketchy coming into this. The setup I was struggling with all week practicing it, and I just felt like it was a little tight, and some of the left-handers loosened the rights. But once we got down to race time, I felt like I had a better long-run truck than Cole. So I was kind of hoping for lap traffic to also play a factor, which it ended up did. And then I was just hoping to take it on from there. We played the strategy perfect, me and my crew chief combat, a.k.a. Connor. He played a fantastic call, and it's awesome they also get Nathan in the top 2, so 1-2 again for our RMS. So yeah, I think we're pretty sitting well right here. we got the confidence booster definitely, but I think I just want to keep maintaining this confidence and more likely streak going on throughout the coming weeks. So my main focus right now is just see what I can do for playoffs. That's my main focus right now.
Hey Ed, the only question I have for you is how long it took you to figure out that rendition of Chase Elliott's win from 2019.
Oh, I'm a big fan. People on my stream know I am the biggest fan. I have his helmet behind me when he won the championship and a bunch of other stuff. So, I mean, that was probably one of my favorite wins to watch. And as soon as I got off the white flag and I was coming off the final turn, I'm like, my crew chief was telling me, he's like, I have an idea. You either want to do Larson's drift burn now that he did in the 600, or you want to do Chase's heartburn turn. I'm like, we got to do the heartburn turn. I tried doing the drift in the end, but I don't even know how the hell to do that. That's difficult as it is. But the heartburn turn I got down perfect. But, I mean, yeah, it's just... Growing up a Chase Elliott fan, it's just like, it's been amazing. I mean, the gears he's had, and I'm just enjoying being a fan of his in general.
We definitely spotted your drift across the line and called it out. But like we mentioned, or like we ask you each week now, as you're on 3 straight wins, how are you feeling about Homestead next week?
Homestead's another one of good of my tracks. I've won there a lot recently. That was actually where I got my first NIS win. And I know how to get there in trucks too. I think I finished second or like 3 or 4 times, and I won at least twice there in my recent history. I don't know if the setup's the same, but I mean, I'm just gonna do what I always do with the RMS crew and just go to work with the setups and practice each and every week and make sure we're all on the same page to where we need to be in the end, like we are tonight and previous weeks. But I feel really confident going into Homestead after tonight.
Well, we'll be seeing you probably up there battling for 4 straight, but before we let you go, we're going to do something here on Speed Racing Network, and Sean Griffith, our producer, is going to go ahead and put that 3rd winner sticker next to your name. Have to make the RMS logo a little bit smaller to start fitting them in there, but it is on there now. You have 3 winner stickers right beside your name, man. How does that make you feel?
Oh, it feels great. I mean, a win's a win. It's hard to get these in this league nowadays. Like, you gotta take every win for granted. I mean, it's so hard to win in anything, possibly. So, carrying on these wins into the playoffs definitely feels really great, and it's a little bit of a swagger, a little bit, which I like too.
Yeah, man. So, yeah, before we let you go, you're getting kind of used to this. You got any sponsors you want to give a shout out to? Any friends, family, loved ones out there you want to say, hey?
I know I'm not sponsored by them, but Napa Auto Parts for, just allowing the truck and everything. I mean, maybe I'm not sponsored by them. I would love to be sponsored, but it's just a clean looking truck, all of them. Hooters, Mountain Dew, Kelly Blue Book, all that. I want to thank Jake Corello and the whole RMS team for allowing me to come in here and get them wins and doing as competitive as I possibly can each and every week. I want to thank my teammates, Nathan Mon, Troy, Michael York, Cole Martin, my crew chief / spotter, Connor. I want to thank my mom, who's watching a little bit here and there, I'm pretty sure, hopefully. But yeah, just a big thanks to Jake Roel. I mean, the guys just brought me in and just treated me nothing that I've ever been treated like. I mean, he's just the best. He's almost like a bigger brother to me, almost. Like, he pushes me to stay calm and be there in the end and make sure I'm composed and everything. I mean, it's just amazing. The whole crew, honestly, is just fantastic. And Apex Designs for designing most of the trucks. And thank you guys in the booth. Sean, I know, came here briefly to do the winner sticker thing. I see it, but thank you, Sean, by the way. Thank you if you're still there. But you guys too. And yeah, pretty much that's it. All of SRN and Jason Tripp. But other than that, everybody else.
Well, it sounds like you need to get on the phone with Napa because they would have another winner on their hands here in SRN. But we're going to go ahead and send you back down to your team, man. Great run by you guys tonight, coming home with 1st and 2nd. We look forward to seeing what you can do out there at Homestead, man.
Yeah, thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
All right. Well, there you guys have it. That was our winner for 3 straight weeks now here in SRN's Truck Series. Ed Shearer, he's going to see if he can do it again there in Week 5, the Beach Battle 125 down at Homestead Miami Speedway. That's going to be next Wednesday, August 11th. Catch it at 9 p.m. Central Time. That's 10 p.m. Eastern. Landon, are you excited to get out to the beach?
Yeah, hopefully we have our boy Brandon Domain back next week, so I can get back down there and talk to all the crew chiefs down there on pit road. But I love going to Homestead. One of those tracks that's been on the circuit for a while now. It used to be the championship race, but it's changed up a bit now. But just a regular track that we go to during the season, and always one of those tracks that you always talk about tires there, and we talk. I feel like we talk about tires every week, but Homestead's one of those tracks. It's got one of the older surfaces on the circuit now, so it's just a track that really eats away at tires, and it seems like Sure always seems to be the one to, take care of his stuff. So really think he's going to be another good contender for next week as well.
Yeah, that's not a bad pick by any means, and I'm just going to go ahead and mention it. I won the picks tonight because that was my guy, and he brought it home. So I'm just going to rub that in the wound a little bit before we move on to this next segment here. But yeah, let that. How's that feel, Landon?
I gave it to you. I could have picked him too.
You could have, but you didn't. All right, moving on. Our next race, though, is going to be the Xfinity Series race here at the Roval, the Right Turn Roval 100. That's going to be our fourth race of the season. Catch it tomorrow, August 5th, 8:30 p.m. Central Time, 9:30 p.m. Eastern. Landon, you and I are both going to be out there running for Rev Racing. How are you feeling about your chances?
I mean, you already know what I'm going to say. I'm pretty confident.
Everybody buckle in.
But no, I like road courses. I used to not be very good at road courses, but got into the GT circuit, running 24-hour races and endurance races, and really helped out my road course performances. So we'll see how tomorrow goes. I think it's going to be just as hectic as it was tonight, having to get through a lot of chaos and people spinning everywhere. But I mean, we'll have to see.
Yeah, I'm just going out there with one plan, and that's exactly what Nathan Mon said. Get through turn one on the first lap, and I'm just going to go from there. But yeah, that's going to end it for our broadcast tonight. I appreciate you, Landon, stepping in for Brandon Domain, who I want to give that honorable mention. He finished 9th today, so great run by him, but he will be back in the booth, I believe, for next week's race at Homestead. But for Landon and I and everybody here at SRN, Sean Griffith, we'll leave you with Go Faster.